Hello and welcome to the Act Today tutorial series. In this video I'll go through the basics on how to schedule activities in Sage Act 2012 and this should apply to most versions of Act within a few years of this version. But essentially the main reason for using Act activities rather than say Outlook or Gmail Calendar is that it provides a way to link activities and the actions that you need to do day to day to the activity, to the contacts that it relates to in your database. So it's quite important that you understand that concept when dealing with the Act calendar, Act task lists, and generally scheduling activities in Act. It also provides an easy way for the other users in your Act database to be able to schedule for each other and also view each other's schedules. That way you're more productive with your time and you're having to deal directly with each other all the time. So to begin with, I'll show you how to create a basic activity, and there are a few ways that you can do that. You can choose to create a call, meeting, or to-do by doing a lookup of the contact you're trying to search for. So in this case, if we search for Nick, we can see there Nick, and then we can choose, say, a meeting activity, and we can choose the date and time. And you'll note that you can free type in these fields. So if you want to make it for, say, 3 o'clock, and you want it to be for 30 minutes, then you can just type it in. The banner is an option where it will show a banner in the calendar, which I'll show you in a minute. At the top of each day, all the banners will show one after the other, as well as at the time that you've scheduled it for. So in the schedule with field, we can also manually type contacts in here, and we can add multiple contacts by using semicolons. So if we wanted to, say, include Chris Huffman, choose surname first, and we can tab out of that box to complete the selection. You can also choose contacts by clicking on the contacts button, and selecting contacts will enable you to add and remove from either or contact list. Look up, and then we just double click on the contacts we want to add and remove. So in this scenario I'll just use Nick, and then we can choose a regarding. A regarding is very useful for categorizing, especially in a listed view like the task list, to see all of your activities grouped together of a similar nature. So it's worthwhile going with your team who are using the same database and coming up with a bunch of general type summary information on the different types of meetings, calls, to-dos, etc. that you need to do, so that you can easily sort by this field when you're in the task list view, and you're more productive when you're doing things one after the other rather than one here, one there. And it's easy to know also, if you use a convention, to be able to recognize that task at a glance. So let's choose customer thank you. So you might have a meeting to thank the customer and sign off on the final paperwork. If you choose a location, you can choose whatever you need to choose. Once again, it helps be consistent here, because then you can group by those particular locations if you need to, also for reporting. Resources is something that's available in the premium version of Act and allows you to choose resources like a meeting room or a projector, things like that might be important to select for a particular task that you need to do. Then you've also got the priority level. This can be customized, but essentially the priority level is useful for maintaining the importance of that particular task that you've got to do. Also, the reminder allows us to select how many minutes or hours or days before the task start time. to remind us, and it will act if we have active. So once you've finished scheduling, you can schedule for other users who have given you permission to schedule for them. If you're a standard user, you need to grant permission for others to be able to schedule for you. And I'll just press OK on and show you where you can change that. So schedule, we can click on grant calendar access, and then we just double click on the user that you want to change the permission for. So you can choose to view or view and schedule, and then press A once you're done. And then next time they log in, or if you log in, if someone's given you permission, you'll notice that they'll be available in the schedule for activity box. Just a handy tip here too, just make sure that all of your users, and we can look them up by going look up advanced users, just to avoid any errors or issues. Just make sure that all the contact names are unique. If they aren't, this schedule for box will have an error showing. So just make sure each user in your database has a unique contact name in this box here. And the users are shown by the is user column with a small icon with a person's head and a key in front of them. So moving on to the calendar view, notice that our activity we scheduled is listed here. Our customer thank you for 3 o'clock. You'll notice also that we've got a here crossed out. Basically that means that it's been completed, and you'll notice that on the right hand side in the calendar view it shows all the activities as well for that day. And as mentioned before, the banner at the top there of Tuesday for that particular meeting that we chose a banner for, and you'll notice that when we untick it, it will be removed. So once you've completed an activity, the most important thing is to clear it so that you show the result of the activity, and it also gives you the option to add to history. So you can right click on activities wherever they are, whichever in whatever section of Act, and choose to clear the activity there. Or if you see the activity listed, you can also click on the checkbox to get off as completed. And you can see there that you can choose a result as meeting held or not held. And each activity has its own unique results. So to add some detail or notes, just simply type and format accordingly. You can also attach files to the cleared activity history. And more importantly, you can choose to follow up. Now this is important to do for each time you complete an activity, as there should always be at least one task against an active customer, so that we can maintain that relationship. And after all, that's what the point of a CRM is, and we want to make sure that we're maintaining our relationships with our customers effectively. So we can schedule another activity, maybe a call to follow up on something, and we can choose a time and a priority, and if we want a ring alarm, we can have a ring alarm. Okay, so once we finish that, we can press OK and OK, and notice that the activity is hid and crossed off. And if we right click on that activity to go to Act, we can see there that the follow-up is there, and we can also choose to show cleared activities here if we wish to, or to hide them. So once again, we can view those activities in task list view, and you can see here that I'm showing next week, and I'm showing calls and to-dos, and I'm showing all priority levels and all users. So if you just want to select your own user, you just select it, it's OK, and then we can see just Chris Huffman's activity there. You can also customize the views, listed views for activities by going to options or right clicking and going customize. And oftentimes, you may want to see who it's scheduled for and who's it scheduled by. Maybe you want to set a phone number or email address in there, and you can choose to customize that view to your own liking and changing the order of that view as well. So we click OK to confirm the change, and that's how you use the task list. You can also choose to create lookups from those task lists. So if we go current week, say all activities, and if we select all activities by holding the control key and clicking on the items that we want, then we can choose individual activities that we want to create a lookup by going to those contacts, or we can just create a lookup of everyone in the task list regardless of our selection. So in this case, I'll right click on the selected contacts and choose Go To. And there we are. These are all the contacts that are relating to that particular task that we selected. And we can cycle through and see that. Sales meeting on the 16th. You also notice there's a recurring option in ACT, which allows you to choose to repeat activities. It's important to understand that you should really set an end date for all recurring tasks for two reasons. One is a task never repeats indefinitely, so just improves performance in your database. Choose an end date for those activities as well. Another feature of the premium version of ACT is you can choose an availability for selecting other users and resources to add to that particular task. And you can see their availability for that time slot that you're trying to schedule for. Quite useful for larger teams, but also for small teams if they wish to have that feature. It's just warning us that we're scheduling for a date in the past, and I'll just choose yes to continue to save those changes. So that's pretty much all there is to the basics of scheduling in ACT. For more questions, contact your local ACT Today consultant who can organise further training or any kind of support that you require. Thank you very much.